good morning and welcome to another episode of Smoking Barrels. In this episode we have been sent this lovely One Leaf night vision sight. And so what we're going to do today is we are going to unbox this bad boy. We're going to get it set up on the FX Streamline. We're going to test and review the functionality and how this actually works and whether it's worth buying compared to some of the more expensive ranges on the market. And then we're going to do a proper field test where we'll take it out into the range and we'll kind of show you the clarity from kind of 30 right out to what this scope is meant to look at, which is 350 meters, I believe. And then we'll have a go at shooting the weapon and see how the recordings come out and show you guys a real, honest, proper review of something like this that you can spend your hard-earned cash on. So let's get to it. Right, let's unbox this bad boy. So this is the One Leaf NV100 clip-on night vision scope. So this is their new one. They had an old night vision scope which was very similar. The difference in this now is that the old one, I think people were having slight issues with connecting it to their current scope, where they had to kind of tape around the night vision and stuff like that to make sure it was a really nice snug fit. This one that I've been given has got a scope and a night vision sight, and I'll explain a bit more about that now. But essentially in the box we've got manual, little glass cleaner, night vision sight itself, which on first thoughts looks very good quality compared to if you imagine buying stuff from kind of, if you ever bought like a Chinese product or something before, they would feel kind of very lightweight, very kind of easily broken, they would feel quite cheap. This actually feels really, really solid. All the dials turn quite smoothly, quite nicely. The buttons all seem nice. It comes with obviously like all of the stickers with the guides and stickers on top of all the battery casing. So actually, so far looks really good quality. Obviously I haven't tested it yet, but initial thoughts looking good. A couple of different eye relief kind of rubber mounts, which is nice to have. A couple of different lengths. 45mm adapter for scope, so if you do have a scope of your own that you want to fit this to, so that you can just connect your night vision sight, you have a 45mm adapter. Got a couple of spare caps, some Allen keys, charging cable, which is always good. I like it when they give you a cable. We do actually have some black tape, some electrical tape that they've sent just in case. So clearly they think the issue hasn't been completely solved. And the final piece of the puzzle is, and it does come with scope covers as well, which is kind of handy. Their scope. First thoughts on everything as it comes. Looks really good quality. Even the rubber ends actually seem really, really good. There's no cracks, there's no breaks. Everything they've given you seems really good. I've had a look through the user manual, and that is very, very simple and very easily explained. A lot of the time when you buy like any sort of kind of Chinese product or anything like that, these user manuals are absolutely crap, and the English is so broken up that you don't really understand how to set the system up. So that makes everything worse, and then you just have to spend ages kind of watching these YouTube videos. Whereas this one's actually really handy. The user manual is really good. The sight itself is very, very simple. Even you can get it on and start using it just by the buttons. And the scope looks really good quality. I've had a look through it just in my hands. The reticle and everything seems really good. They've got a really nice kind of broken reticle. They obviously come with some of the mounts. You can get your own, clearly. And it has two nice scope covers, which is always handy. All right, now that we've unboxed everything, I'm going to talk through kind of each component and the main features of it and why I think this is actually quite a good deal if you're looking to buy a night vision setup but don't have the thousands and thousands of pounds to spend on the pulsar, thermals, etc., etc. So, first thing we've got is the One Leaf NV100 clip-on sight. So this is their new Commander NV100. Like I said, there are some older versions, and I've seen kind of 8 to 10 months, probably 12 months ago, that the old one of this came out, and I saw the reviews of that online, and actually a lot of the reviews for that were really good. The one issue they were having was the kind of mounting system, so getting it to connect to their scope and having to tape it on and stuff like that, which is why they've come up with this all-in-one solution to try and make it better. So this sight apparently has a 328 yard or 300 meter night vision viewing range. We will test that out tonight in the dark, and we're going to test it out in the daytime now. We've got a 6-level adjustable built-in IR illuminator, which is here. You can very simply pull that out and adjust. Looking at the old IR one and the reviews online, that's actually been really, really good. So hopefully they haven't changed that, because it means that you don't need an extra IR. So most of these kind of cheaper versions of this sort of setup, you need like your own IR. So you need an extra torch to give you the flood to actually get the really good night view. Whereas the reviews I've watched of the old one of this, they've all said that you actually don't need that. This is really good, and it provides enough IR kind of flood that you can see right out to a couple hundred yards with the old one, without needing an extra IR floodlight. So that should be really good. Okay, we've obviously got a recording function on here, which is 1080p. So you've got full HD recording on here. You can also take photos. And the kind of cool thing, you can take photos whilst you're recording, which I can't do on most cameras, including the one that I'm filming this on. So thank you very much, very expensive cameras. Take a lesson from these guys. It also comes very handily with a 25 gig memory card, which was already in here. You just take this little clip off, and the memory card was in there, already come with it, which is super handy. And obviously the USB cable to charge this came with it too. You've got a battery inside here, which is for the IR, and that is rechargeable as well, which is very, very useful. And we're meant to have a 6-hour max lifespan on this when you've got it out after a full charge. And the only other couple of things to really mention, obviously you've got the focus wheels on here, which we'll kind of talk about more in depth once I get it fitted to the air rifle, and we'll see how they actually work once we're recording. It comes with a 2-year warranty, which is really good for a budget product. That's about it for this. Looks very promising, all feels very good, very secure, very high quality. Let's talk about this big bad boy scope. So like I've already mentioned, this is what One Leaf call their rapid fire scope. It is a 56mm objective lens, so you've got a really nice big wide lens, which is going to give you some really good viewing in kind of low light conditions, which I think is why this will work quite well with the night vision setup that we've got here. This comes with, these both come off, pop, there we go. And this very quickly connects like that, and twist like that. Done. So that's on. So now we've got night vision on our sight and the ability to record, so anyone who's doing YouTube videos like me, within about 3 seconds. So no need for taping and trying to get this on and then trying to get it to line up correctly, which I've had to do with all the old ones, which is really, really, really annoying. To take this off, again, you just pull this little button, little lever, twist, off. That's the biggest thing about this, is you've got this kind of rapid fire scope mount on the end, which is obviously what their name comes from. Super handy if you want to be able to clearly take this night vision off and just shoot. If you weren't recording, you could shoot with your normal scope. It's already zeroed on the rifle, good to go. So I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits, and obviously why this whole thing was made. Okay, so we've got multiple magnification. So you've got a 1:12 mag on this sight itself, and that turns really quite nicely, seems very smooth. You've also got a 1:3 magnification on here whilst you're recording or whilst you're actually looking through the camera in this, which again is very handy. So you can leave this, if your clarity on the scope is quite good through kind of the 3 or the 6 times magnification, then you can actually just try and magnify with this up to kind of 3 times, and that will just make your vision a bit better. So that's very handy. Both have got magnification. Okay, the other cool thing about this sight, if you are like shooting kind of long range, if you're putting this on kind of some kind of deer rifles and stuff like that, then you've got your parallax adjustment here on the side, so you can take this from 20 yards all the way up to 300 yards, which is very handy if, like I said, you are changing the range of your shooting and if you're going out kind of doing some longer distance stuff. The other kind of adjustment that you have here is your reticle illumination, and you've got 11 stages of illumination for your reticle on the side here, which is cool. I quite like having mine illuminated, especially if you're shooting deer late night, early morning, kind of just as twilight's starting to come around, so that's really handy. It is also meant to be waterproof, fog-proof, and shock-proof. I'm not going to go throwing this on the ground and testing it, because I actually think I quite like it. And I don't really want to smash it up. But what I will do is, whilst I'm out kind of shooting tonight and possibly on the range before then, I will spray this with some water and try and get it fogged up and see if that actually withstands a test. Because realistically, I do need it to be fairly good in all weather, because if I'm going to take it out deer shooting and stuff like that, it needs to not get fogged up. Other than that, like I mentioned, it comes with its own mounts, which is handy, but clearly you can have your own on your rifle. That's kind of just your decision. But looks like a very good scope, looks very good quality. I will show you the quality of the actual scope and everything else through the night vision next. Alright, so the next part of this video, I need to see how easy it is to basically get this scope, which is my Hawk that I've been using for a while on this air rifle, off and put this new scope on. Then I want to get this night vision onto that scope and get both of them zeroed, hopefully nice and easy as it says in the manual, before I actually get this thing out on the range and show you the quality of the scope. So let's see if we can get this mounted and zeroed without too much hassle. Okay, so you may have noticed that it took a little bit longer than a couple of minutes. It actually took about 18 hours for me to get this scope where it was to a point where I could actually get it fitted. And that was because, stupidly, I didn't really think. But these kind of scopes are made, especially the newer scopes and bigger scopes, which this is, are made for bigger rifles and rifles that generally have these kind of Picatinny rails. Mine has got this kind of 10mm mount, which most smaller air rifles will have. So if you are going to get this, and considering putting it on a smaller rifle like a 17 HMR or a air rifle, you're going to need to get one of these, which I just got off Amazon, a kind of 10mm to Picatinny rail adapter, and it only cost me 14 quid and it came the next day, so actually not too bad. Now let's see how easy it is to get on now that I've mounted it. Okay, so I'll give you a kind of close-up of this now. Okay, so this is our Picatinny rail adapter, which you can see here. I got one that was essentially the right length, or the same length as the rail that was already on my FX. So it goes from here to here. Very, very simple, just slides on 4 Allen keys, tightens him up, and then this one just on top to stop it sliding around anywhere. Okay, now we've got a Picatinny rail on top of my FX. And now, the scope should just kind of clip on. There we go. Yeah, like that. So I suppose the best thing really about actually having this Picatinny rail on now is that I can move this scope around really easy. So once I've got it mounted into these brackets, I can actually lift this scope and move it forwards and backwards to align with my kind of eye relief from the butt of this rifle much nicer. So that should be a big benefit. But yeah, once it's on like that, all I have to do is tighten these little nuts up, and voila, scope on. So actually, although it took me 18 hours, if I'd had the Picatinny rail originally, yeah, this actually would have been a 2-minute job, which is really good. I'm impressed. Okay, let's get this camera mounted up and let's give it a test. Okay, so to mount the camera, as I've kind of already showed you guys, super simple. What you're going to do, you take the camera at a slight angle, kind of just feeling for it. Oh, hold on. Ah, there we go. Like that. You push him on, twist until it's vertical, you hear a nice click. Done. Now the camera's on. Now I get the feeling that once this camera's on, I'm probably going to have to move this scope forward a couple of clicks, so that's why the kind of Picatinny rail is actually very handy. Let's see. Oh yeah, my head is off the button stop now. So, alright, that's way better. So now that the camera's on, I've had to move the Picatinny rail forward quite a bit. What it means is, if I want to shoot without the rail on, without the camera on, obviously I'm going to have to take the camera off, and then I'll have to just loosen the scope on the 2 Picatinny rails and move it back a few notches so that it's back in line with my eye again, which is a slight inconvenience, but expected with these cameras. And this has always been an issue when you put these on the back of a scope, so it's nothing new. And actually, the ease of taking this on and off is definitely going to make that whole process so much easier, because this is easy to take on and off, and these rails are very, very easy, or the clamps to go onto the Picatinny rail is super easy to move back and forth, so very handy. And that is the new scope mounted and set to my eye, and it only took a few minutes, 5 minutes to move it around, which is very nice. So now my eye relief is all sorted, my head sits nicely on the gun stock, and we're ready to give this a test. Let's give it a go. Alright, so we've got the field just in front of us here. I've got a target out at 25 yards, which is where I'm going to zero the air rifle, only because I'm going to be shooting some rats and squirrels, so it's going to be close range stuff. I'm now going to test the scope and the night sight in day, because it is a day and night sight at the end of the day, and we want to be able to use it for both for recording reasons. So I'm going to show you what it's like at 25 yards, and then we're going to move right out to the top of the field, which is tree, top of the field, 200 yards. And then I can go right across to either corner and basically go to kind of 300 yards, and we'll see what sort of quality footage we get at 300 yards. Then I'll do the same at night so that we can get a proper comparison between day and night and how good the quality is, especially with this kind of long range, or what is meant to be a long range night rifle scope. So let's have a look. Let's see what we get on with. This is our first proper test of actually using this as well, so I'll give you a kind of review on how well, like how easy this is to use. So we should just be able to press that button and start recording. Yep, we are recording. And that's actually very clear at 25 yards. I like that. That looks great. I can see everything. That target looks perfect. Okay, so next we're going to go to tree, which is just there. It's 150 yards out to that corner, so okay, so that's the tree there out to 150 yards. Okay, so that is zooming with my scope. If I put that on 6 times zoom, see how well we can focus. Oh, there we go. Oh, now we've got some nice clarity. Perfect. Okay, so 150 yards. Yeah, I can see the barbed wire on the fence. I can see the tree perfectly. Oh yeah, lovely and clear. I'd be happy to shoot rabbits, etc. on that corner there, on that grass. That would be great. Wow, that's really clear. Doesn't take long. Couple of minor adjustments with the. You've got kind of 2 different adjustments here. You've got like the reticle adjustment and the your eye adjustment, and that is really, really nice and clear. Okay, let's see. We got like 200 yards at the top of the field. Let's see where the sheep are. Important to note, this gun is not loaded. The cock and handle's back to the rear, so you will see the sheep, the livestock in this field, but I'm not shooting anywhere near them, so don't panic, people. Okay, 185 yards to the top of this field, so alright, there's my tree. Okay, we can see the sheep. Nice and clear. I'd be more than content if that was a deer. Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit better clarity. I'll mess around with these a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh wow. I must admit, that is unbelievable. 200 yards with this scope and the sight on. That's really, really impressive. Okay, let's push him out a little bit more and see what we can get. 350 right to the corner. Okay, that's pretty much what it reckons the max distance is, 350. So, and those trees right in the top corner are 350. So let's have a look at them and see if we can get any sort of view on that. Okay, I can see them. Not the most clear. Let's give this a zoom with the scope and see how we get on. Okay. Let's see, can we bring those trees into focus? Yes, I can see out to 350.
And like that pigeon that just flew past then was, I mean, quite clearly a pigeon. It's not, like that's perfectly clear, like I can see that there, that like, telegraph pole, which is probably 250, let's see. Let's press record. Okay, so I'm going to take this zoom down on my scope, back down to 6, because that's much better. There we go. Okay, so that's zoomed out to 6 now on my scope. Actually, let's take him right down to 3. See if we can kind of prove a point. Okay, so that's right out to 3 times zoom on the scope. Now, I can zoom up to 3 times just from the camera, so let's see how good a quality that is. There we go, so that's 2 times zoom. And 3 times zoom. Alright, let's see if we can get some better quality. Oh yeah, wowee, look at that. Okay, I'm really impressed. This camera is extremely easy to use. Very easy to use. Once you get the hang of it as well, that zoom takes actually the quality of the camera much better than zooming with the rifle scope, which is fantastic. And it's useful because I don't like changing the zoom, particularly on the rifle scope. It messes with your vision up a little bit. So that's actually really, really nice. Dead impressed with that. Okay, so my first thoughts with this, especially at daytime, really, really good. Really high clarity, super easy to use, super functional, very easy to fit and change and move around. So big thumbs up for me so far in the daytime. I'm going to zero this now on my board at 25 yards, and then I'm going to bring this back out when it gets dark, and I'll show you exactly the same things that I've showed you now in the dark. So stick around and you'll be able to see some pretty good content. Okay, so I've just zeroed this rifle in. I have been, took me about 10 minutes because I had to, the first rounds were like way low, right, so I had to kind of rebore sight a little bit. But once I got it somewhere near, it actually took me just a couple of minutes just to obviously zero in like you normally would with the dials. And I think now we're pretty much bang on, so I'm going to do a couple of check groups just to test. Another note on the review of this camera, I left this on whilst I've been in, so I've been recording with this now for about an hour, obviously reviewing, showing you guys. Then I did a bit of zero in, probably 20 minutes. Then I've gone in, had dinner, done everything else, probably another hour, come back out. I left this on the whole time, and it's still on over half charge, so I think the 6-hour battery life is probably pretty close. I've used this for 2 hours solid now, and it's, yeah, barely gone down at all, so that's really good. Real big bonus. Let's do this check group, and then we'll wait for it to get dark.
Okay, I think it's safe to say this thing is zeroed. That looks like 5 pellets pretty much within pellet on pellet. But on the side note, this camera is really good. The exposure is a bit of an issue. Obviously the sun shining right on that bright white board makes it a little bit difficult, but actually still getting a really good view. I wouldn't be able to see that even with my really good camera with the exposure so high, so this is really impressive, I must admit.
Okay, so this is our 5-round group at 25 yards using the camera. That's really impressive. This was my zeroing, so you can see the shots here. So this was basically how far low right it was. I was aiming at the top left corner, and we got the shots coming down here to start with. So I had to do a bit of rejigging, and then I came onto this target here, and you'll see first shot came in here, came up once, twice, 3, and then on the 4th round, bang, straight in the middle, and then came over here, did my 5-round check group, and was bang on. So that scope setup, really, really easy to zero, so very happy with that. Didn't take me long at all. Like I said, 10 minutes once I got it kind of bore sighted really nicely. Right, let's wait for it to get dark, and let's test this thing out in the night.
Night vision test. So we are now recording. That is our sign from earlier that we can see at 25 yards. So that's pretty clear. What I wanted to show you is different IR modes whilst we're here. So we've got Okay, so this is IR1, IR2, IR3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 brightness levels on the IR, which is really good. We've got a really nice clear picture on that now. Okay, so that's 25 yards, that's nice and clear. I wanted to show you what it's like if I go out to basically 200 yards, which is the top of the field. And there are a bunch of sheep up here, so I should be able to see them. There we go, so we've got a sheep there. Let me just show you what it's like. This is currently on IR6. If I drop it down, we've got... Okay, so there you go, so there's the difference, that's IR1. Okay, so IR2, immediate difference. 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we get that really nice clear picture right at the top of the field, which is, like I said, 200 yards. It's pretty impressive. And this is without zooming at all. And if I... Okay, so we've got some more sheep here. Just a little zoom. Just show you guys what we can... So that's 3 times zoom. See if we can't get a little bit clearer. Okay, so there's my sheep. At 200 yards. Nice and clear. Really very clear. So I think you'd be happy taking that shot. And it really is a nice clear view, to be fair. Now, okay, we'll go test this corner of the field again. Okay, and we've got over here, obviously the far side of the field, which we looked at originally, which we're talking, those sheep are 250, edge of the wood we're talking 300 yards. Again, nice clear picture, very clear. Look at that. That's our times 2 zoom, times 3, there we go. And there's our sheep. At approximately 250 yards. There was, initially there was some rabbits jumping around at the top of this field, and I'd like to have shown you them, just so you can see it's not just large animals, you can see. Ah, there we go. Bingo. Got our rabbit friends, so let's see. There they are, zooming in 3 times. And there are our little rabbits. So there's your quality out to 200 yards. They are 200 yards away. And very clear. Ah, right, okay. So I have just realised one kind of issue. Every time you zoom the camera, it stops recording and starts a new recording session. So that is a bit annoying if you were trying to take one video, obviously, and you wanted to zoom in, but as long as you know that and kind of remember it, it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, a bit annoying. But other than that, everything else on this camera really is fantastic.
Okay, so back in at the house now. I think after kind of testing this thing out really quite thoroughly during the day and at night, I can quite happily give this my seal of approval. This sight and the scope kind of conjoined, because that's what the package is, that's what they're selling, is really, really good. This scope, right out to 12 times zoom, fantastic clarity, the reticle on it is really nice. And the only thing I suppose I didn't try with the scope is the reticle illumination, but that's one of those things that if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's not really a big necessity in my eyes. To get it zeroed, no problem at all. Really, really easy. Really nice little adjustments. The mowers are all exactly right. The night sight itself, fantastic. Really good little bit of kit. The way that they've made it now so that it clips on and off so easily is a game changer. That makes a world of difference. Clearly the IR settings, the 6 IR settings, I don't really have enough good words to say about that. Having to not mount a lot of the old ones, you would have to mount a separate IR light or torch onto your rifle, which I've got there. I've got like a lamp that goes on top of this, and that would the lamp that I would use to put on top of my rifle, an air rifle, there was no way would I get a picture out to 300 yards like I did with this. So that, with the IR out to 6, really is fantastic. 300 to 350 yards when I was looking at the corner of the field and still getting a really good picture. So impressive. The buttons and all the settings, super simple. Like, if I can use it, anyone can use it. It didn't take me, I didn't have to go and like learn how to use this thing. I literally took it out of the box and videoed this straight away. So you guys watching me use it was exactly how anyone could use it within kind of 5 minutes. The recording and everything is great. I said the only annoying thing is that when you change the zoom, it stops recording and then it starts a new record. So I realised when I started watching some of the clips on the camera that they're actually like cutting me out a little bit, which is annoying. So I'm obviously talking, changing zoom, and it stops the video. So I need to remember that as I'm videoing next time. But I think other than that, the only thing I have left to test is take this out on some vermin. So I'm going to go out now. I'm going to go shoot some rats with this. And then tomorrow in the daytime I'm going to go out and shoot some squirrels. So stay tuned, look for those next 2 videos. I should have them up within a few days of releasing this one, and I think you'll find it thoroughly enjoyable, so I hope you enjoyed this review. I've tried to be as honest and as open as I possibly can, but I think this One Leaf is an absolutely great bit of kit, and I think if you're looking for a budget item under £500, this is definitely one to get. Really nice customer service from the guys when I spoke to them, and it came pretty much within a week. So really, really good product, great review, and I'll see you all on the next one.